What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan with the Rideshare Panel, and today I'm checking in with you guys after my first day with DoorDash. And honestly, the first day went great. I had a lot of fun. I drove around the Seattle area for about 3 hours, and I made a total of around $78, just over that much. So that came out to be about 25 bucks an hour, maybe a little bit less because I worked slightly over 3 hours. But the money was, pretty good. And I really enjoyed what I was doing. It was the first day, so I haven't really experienced all the annoyances yet, but so far I'm kind of having a blast out there and really enjoying it. So the sign-up process was really easy. I kind of made a video about that. The one issue I did have is I wasn't able to register my red debit card with DoorDash right away. But yesterday when I logged in to drive, I actually tried that again by entering the 6-digit number and then the last 4 digits of the debit card number, and it was able to register right away. I ended up not actually needing the red debit card that much because most of the orders are kind of automatically placed online. Only one of those orders did I actually have to pay with the red debit card in store, and that process was seamless. Other than that, I kind of just hopped onto the app. They give you a quick reminder of what you need to bring. You got to make sure that you have your red card, that your cell phone is charged, your car has gas in it, and then they also want you to have the red DoorDash heat bag that they send you in your activation kit. So you make sure you have all those things, and then you kind of look, and they have like a surge map. So they break down, like, for example, the Seattle area into 5 or 10 different regions, and each of those is kind of has surge pricing if it's busy out there, and then they give you an additional dollar amount per delivery if it's surging. So it was kind of busy in my area. I'm in North Seattle, so I just kind of worked in there, and it was about $3 extra per delivery in that area. I ended up doing most of my deliveries around the University of Washington campus. That's a pretty busy area, and that was nice because I stayed in that small area and got like a ton of orders within that. So for me, that was helpful because I kind of maximized my earnings in a sense that I wasn't driving long distances, but I was making a lot of orders and making multiple orders on top of each other. So DoorDash does this cool thing that I would kind of equate to like an Uber pool feature where you can be driving, and then if they find another order that's kind of within your route, they will ask you to stack that order on top of it. So I'll be driving to one restaurant, I'll pick up that order, and then I'll get another order that's kind of between me and my next stop, and I'll pick that up as well, and kind of just end up having multiple orders, multiple dinners or whatever it is in my DoorDash bag, and then I will deliver those off as I go. And so far the app does a pretty good job of that, from what I can tell, of kind of placing orders that are within your route and are very much on your way, so that you're not like taking a new order, going super far out of the way, and then taking too long to deliver to the next person, or doing something that's out of your way. It is kind of hard to judge whether it's a good order or not, because you'll be driving in the middle of an order and you're trying to get that done as quickly as possible, so stopping to kind of look through that and judge whether it's the right order to pick up can be hard, but you get better at that, and then you make the decision as you go. So as I was driving, I was doing the surge pricing, so I opted in and I signed up for a block which was between like 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. But as it turns out, I didn't actually need to be on for that entire block. It was kind of within that area. I just signed on, and then I signed off when I felt like I was done. And the surge pricing I qualified for by giving 5 rides within that period and delivering upon 80% of those rides. So it was important for me to keep my acceptance rate up during that time period. There were times when I dipped down to like 63%, but I kind of just made sure that I finished off strong with a couple of acceptances on orders and not passing on the last few, and it put me up right above 80% to finish. So because I did that, I was able to qualify for that extra little earnings, and that kind of that added like $12.50 to my end payout for that period of time. So I think it was definitely worth it because I was still able to decline a couple of orders where I would have been picking something up down on the south side of the north end of Seattle and then delivering to the north side, which I didn't want to take. So I was able to refuse that and then still get mostly orders that I wanted to deliver on, and still maintain that 80% rate. So the one thing that did come up that caught me off guard a little bit was I did have a passenger who kind of called in after I picked up his order and was like, hey, I made a mistake in the app. I put the wrong delivery address in. Can I change that? And not having driven before, I kind of just said, yeah, just give it to me. I'll put it in my Google Maps and I'll meet you there. So I dropped it off at his place, and then I tried to end that order. And because the location that I was at when I finished the order wasn't the location that the app told me to deliver it at, it actually did not let me complete the order. So I ended up having to talk to him, ask him to change the address after it had been completed, and then talking to customer service for about 5 minutes and making sure that they knew what was going on. And all of that could have been avoided simply by making sure that the customer made the changes in the app, as opposed to me making the changes and not letting the app know. So if anything like that comes up, make sure that you just tell the customer if they want their order changed or they want the delivery address changed. Do that all within the app, and that way it kind of takes it off your shoulders and puts it on them to do it. But overall, I had a blast, and it's definitely something that I will be doing on the evenings, maybe a little bit on the weekends here and there, just to pick up a little extra cash and to kind of drive around, because that's always a little bit of fun. Comparing it with like Lyft or Uber, I would say it's definitely it's an advantage to me, because I like getting to help people out and talk to people a little bit when I drop off their orders, but I don't have to have someone in the car for long periods of time and having a conversation with them. Maybe if they aren't open to conversation or they're an awkward person, that can be kind of weird. So I got to avoid that. Pay was pretty good. I think the average pay, it's kind of hard to say what the average pay is for Lyft and Uber in Seattle, but I know in some places lower, 14, 15 an hour. So if you compare that to what I made last night in the 3-hour span, the pay was definitely higher for DoorDash, but that was a surge time, and rates vary by location. So all that, I'll have to get back to you on that and give you like some more averages over the lifespan of my driving. But so far, tons of fun, enjoyed doing it, and definitely a good option to kind of supplement your rideshare driving income. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and check back in for all the latest videos, because I'm going to be having a lot more DoorDash videos. I'm going to do a tutorial for you new drivers that haven't started out yet, just like the real basic walkthrough steps of what to do when you first hop on the app. All the things that you need to make sure you have before your first ride and how to use that app. It's pretty straightforward, but it does kind of help just to watch a brief video on that. So we'll have that out shortly, and leave a comment if you like it. Let me know what you thought. If you have any other questions or something you want me to make a video on, let me know.